and we're going.
Evan Peters has that thing where like he kind of looks like he might have Crohn's disease because he's got those sunken eyes, like Pete Davidson style.
A pilot podcast.
That's not an anti-Crohn's disease statement, but it is true that women have now found like sunken-eyed white boys who look like real tired. Like that's what's hot, and like Evan Peters has that.
I've always,
but he still has a problematic Twitter past, so I don't care.
I have to go.
Yeah.
What? Like you don't feel like that's a fair? You know what? Just let's restart.
I'm
just saying.
Let's restart. We're going.
I just felt attacked because I find Evan Peters attractive.
I do find Evan Peters attractive,
so
but
what
I normally don't find
like for the same reason
thing.
I find like Daniel Radcliffe attractive. Like they just have really big sad eyes.
The eyes. I told you it's the eyes.
Literally, that's why I was like, I need to leave.
But it's the Crohn. It's like they have like they're poop weird, and that sucks. And like, but that makes them sexy. So it's kind of a good trade off.
Hot people always have pooping problems.
But it's like it's weird that women are attracted to like natural, like there's a natural selection level to like having bad poops that women are finding attractive right now, and I think that that's scientifically terrific.
I think it started with Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. I think that was really. I
wish I would have
tokenized it.
I had this soundbite of Bill Nye going, "It's huge and it's in your genes," and I want to play it right now because we're talking about science.
Yeah,
but I don't have it saved. It's on my phone.
Welcome to the 1-year anniversary of a pilot podcast.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it's been a year.
And you know
so
what?
Long.
This is the perfect episode for the year. It's a horror show in which we took 2 seasons from the same show and did it again.
And it wasn't even on purpose.
No, totally on accident. Yeah. In fact, at one point, you thought it was the other episode that was going to go.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be the episode that goes up next to Halloween.
Not we.
Okay, I'm sorry. Me, I just assumed that like we're married and like your mistakes are my mistakes. And
no, what really is like Cody always forgets that we did the Scream episode. That's what it really is.
I forget that we did the episode after is my thing. Mm-hmm. I keep thinking we posted Scream as like our first one, and it was like...
It is our first one.
But it was as like the Halloween episode when really it went up in the first or second week of October.
It wasn't the Halloween episode. The Halloween special was the Halloween episode.
And that's why I keep getting confused. I keep forgetting about the Halloween special we actually did.
We're a pilot podcast. We've been around for a year.
What was
we still don't know what we're doing.
What was the Halloween one for last year? What was it?
It was Boy Meets World. And
that was a good one. And Friends. Mm-hmm. That was a good episode for us.
Yeah.
It was our first video to hit 1,000 views.
Let it be known also that about a week ago, Cody told me in private, Friends has like no episodes about Thanksgiving. I just wanted to point that out. That was after we did hilarious. A podcast where not only we reviewed a Thanksgiving episode of Friends, but he said on the podcast that there's like 10 of them.
And then I went through and I was like, oh wait, there's a lot of them actually.
They're like every season.
I think I was mistaking it for Halloween because there's actually only one Halloween episode.
Logan's sister like puts that on every year at Thanksgiving.
And it's always like a different one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them apparently.
There are a lot.
Apparently I don't know. I haven't watched them.
We've watched a lot of television this past year.
Holy shit, no joke. What's rotted our brains.
What's been your favorite thing you've watched this year for the podcast?
That the podcast has introduced us to?
Mm-hmm.
Squid Game.
Yeah.
No, that's Invincible.
I was going to say Invincible.
Ooh.
But Squid Game's really good.
Ooh, it's between Squid Game or Invincible.
That's really good.
Oh, but this podcast got me into Gossip Girl.
Oh, yikes,
Gossip Girl.
Oh.
That wins.
We did Gossip Girl?
Yeah, we did Gossip Girl
and it got
with
me
you.
into it. And then I've watched every episode since.
What did we pair it with?
You, the show You.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Huh. Wow, we're clever. Anyway,
Dude, we did Entourage and Gilmore Girls. We've done a lot. That. We've done a lot of what were some of the, you know what? Just to take a quick moment. What were some of the bangers as far as reviews we did for you guys?
Yeah,
what do you think was like our
in the
best?
Comments.
I mean, Digimon High School Musical, the musical.
That got us the most views, but I think it's because
it's a banger.
We tapped into the dark underlord world of like Digimon stands. we hit like the chisel right at the
and it was
iceberg.
fun talking about like Olivia Rodrigo and all that shit.
And how much apparently you're jealous of her.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Get it? Jealousy.
I mean, like, duh, you dumb fuck. If I could be Olivia Rodrigo instead of me, I would do that.
Do it.
She's very successful, and she's paying a lot of money to people she ripped off.
Oh my gosh. Also, the original banger, Glee Pokemon, I think is my
Glee
other.
Pokemon is really good.
That was really fun to review too.
That was the first one we ever recorded.
I'm going to look at the list real fast. I actually have to look at it and like see like what really stood out for me.
Back then, we were going by a different name.
Wow,
I
that's
know.
crazy.
I know, dude. Because you guys just like refuse to look up domains when I ask.
Not
what?
me. I was the one who found it. I was like, hey, there's
You
already
know
one
what?
of these guys.
You know, you're
I
right.
thought
That's
I did
true.
good.
Yeah.
But
All
I
right.
said, I'm like, listen, I do a lot of research for this podcast. Somebody else has to look at this domain shit.
I
did that last
right
time and I did a great job, but it took days for me
like-
to make sure.
That's our current predicament right now because Logan and I are working on a secret project and it's hard.
I really
It's
like
hard.
the Yu Yu Hakusho Reaper episode.
Oh, that's good.
And also, I'm really proud of the My Name is Earl episode.
Yeah.
Because my intro in it is fucking amazing and I love it.
I love the Future Man Loki episode. I forgot about that.
Future Man and Loki was really good.
WandaVision.
I love
and
talking about
Doom Patrol.
Invincible.
Doom Patrol. You know, one of the ones where I felt like we were the most thoughtful because it was really early was Barry Dexter, where we got more into like the nitty gritty of like the cinematography and the direction and stuff. And I liked that we did that one time. It gave us an opportunity to talk more about just like than just meme on it. Like we looked at it with like a critical eye, and I liked that one a lot for that.
Nice.
And yeah, like that 70s show, that 80s show, obviously, like
Wow.
totally a banger, 100%.
Yeah, but like let us know what you've liked so far this year in the comments and what you'd like to see from us in our second year.
Yeah, 2022 is our second year. Hey, that works.
We could put a poll
Wow.
on our Twitter and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
So there you go.
So what are we
Definitely will.
reviewing today? And who are we? I don't think we ever introduced
we didn't.
ourselves.
Womp.
A pilot podcast. Wow,
I thought
thank
you were going to
you.
do the womp.
Thank you,
womp,
CL.
womp.
You know how much it would
We
take.
definitely said we were a pilot podcast.
You know how long it
but-
would take for me to get to that soundbite? Do you really want me to play that?
No.
No, we're doing it.
Oh my gosh. Well, in the meantime, I'm Cody/CL.
I'm Frani.
And who are you? That did not take long at all.
It's going to take longer to get back. No, I'm just kidding. I'll figure it out.
Don't know where to go from there.
No, I think I know where we're going after that.
Okay.
Anyway, this is the first time for me in the Marvel. Have you seen that video of Owen? Wait, we talked about it on the review, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Oh shit! Listen to that review. I'm Logan.
And they never called you the Scarlet Witch, but you are the Scarlet Witch.
God.
So we're reviewing the first two seasons of American Horror Story. So Murder House and Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about American Horror Story is it's like a big part of one of the people in this room's upbringing as far as viewing goes.
I'll let Cody read the Wikipedia, then I will get into my love for it.
So American Horror Story Murder House, originally titled American Horror Story, wow, is the first season of the FX horror anthology television series created by Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk, also the creators of Glee and Nip Tuck. It aired between October 5th and December of 2011. Produced by Fox. Let's see. It centers on the Harmon family, Dr. Ben Harmon, Vivian, and their daughter Violet, who move from Boston to Los Angeles after Vivian has a miscarriage and Ben has an affair. They move into a restored mansion, and chaos and things ensue.
Yeah, so upon rewatch, you definitely feel like there should be a big trigger warning on this.
Oh, yeah.
But this show was like, I found it freshman year. It didn't come out it was like already out, and like me and my friends made it our entire personality liking the show.
It's okay. I knew a lot of girls like
yeah,
you.
yeah. I definitely was like the Doc Martens black skinny jeans, like before it was cool.
Before Dark Academia was a thing.
Before Dark Academia was a thing. I had a septum ring before it was cool.
Oh.
I since don't because I'm an adult now. But shout out to all the adult listeners with
I'm not
septum
laughing
rings.
at.
I love you.
I'm not
still.
laughing at that.
But
I'm hearing that.
I have a big girl job. I can't.
I'm reading these notes from the movie the notes that I wrote in my like review, I guess, like while we're watching it.
Yeah.
These notes make no sense to me right now.
That's funny.
There's some that like the one is loved pickled ears on my hoagie.
From this?
Yes.
I have no
think
idea
that's a
what that
line.
means.
Yeah, I think that's a line.
But
No, I don't think it's a line. I think
there's something about a hoagie.
they were
I swear.
no.
Or
They were like they were like looking through. Like somebody found like weird jars or something in the basement, and there was like
Yes.
ears.
Oh yeah.
And it was like it was like a cut scene to like someone eating a sandwich. I was like, love pickled ears on my hoagie.
and at this time too, when I found this show and made it my whole personality, I was like on Tumblr, so it was very much like normal people scare me time on Tumblr.
Nice. Okay.
I also worked at a haunted house at the time with the same friends that like we were all obsessed with the show, so we just like pretended like we were on this show at the haunted house.
Yikes!
Extra cringe.
Wow,
okay.
that's really cringy. I would
know.
not have admitted that. I'm kidding. I'm
it's
kidding.
fine.
I'm kidding.
I'm confident in who I am.
Here's the thing. I'll admit something to make you feel better about that. So there was a point in time where I had a crush on this girl in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And she had the album for High School Musical, and I would act out the scenes with her.
Adorable.
Because I thought she was hot.
Oh, you're so cute. I'll
And
make
then,
it better
like,
for you too.
I clapped those. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. Anyway.
During recess, me and my friends used to pretend that we had Pokemon, and we'd literally do like the Ash Ketchum, pull the hat back, put our leg up
that's
in the
tight
air,
as fuck.
and throw the
That's
Pokeball.
adorable.
Dude, you're so millennial. It hurts right now.
I'm sorry, I'm so quirky and relatable, guys.
But yeah, I love the show, and I was like really into like seeing the new ones come out too, and I just got.
I know you were so obsessed when they were about to put out Roanoke. They did like all these TV trailers where they like gave you a bunch of commercials and you had to figure out which one. Like they gave a bunch of intros and only one of them was for the show
And
you were
Logan and I
actually
were
getting.
dating
Oh,
at this
that's
time,
kind of
too.
cool.
And I
a good
saw
idea.
one that was like all like crop circles and aliens. I was like, dude, do that one. That looks fucking amazing. And they didn't.
And I just like
Instead, it was Roanoke, and we both watched the first episode, and it was so disappointing we didn't continue it.
And I was like hyped for it. I was like,
It was a topic of every day.
Yeah,
It was something she brought up every day.
Why haven't they done aliens? I mean, they kind of
they
do
kind
it,
of do.
At multiple
We'll get
times.
into that. Not in Murder House though, which is the one we're talking about first.
Yeah,
But
maybe we'll talk about it later.
yeah, had either of you seen Murder House before this?
No.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't
Because I
think
know
so.
this is definitely not Cody's type of TV.
The only American Horror Story I saw before you is I saw the first episode of Asylum because I was with an edgy person. I was hanging out with an edgy girl.
Yeah, edgy
And-
girls be loving this shit.
And, she just wanted to blow Evan Peters the whole time. It really
I
ruined
mean,
my
same.
whole day. I was like, why don't I have Crohn's?
So,
And,
so you were on a date with me? Is that what you're saying?
and I was like, I ended up like hating it so much. I was like, can we please watch something else?
Yeah.
And I think we watched Oddities, that show that's like Pawn Stars, but they sell weird shit. This girl was too edgy. She was trying too hard. And so that was the only time I had seen it. And then Franny made me watch in the summer after I graduated high school, we had to watch Freak Show on Netflix. Like she was obsessed.
Yeah,
And it was really bad.
The one I knew about was Coven. That was the one that all of the girls
that's
were like.
kind of that's
talking
kind of
about.
when I fell off of
Okay,
the
interesting.
wagon.
That's the one where every girl I knew was like, "Oh my god, I'm a witch. I'm like a
Yeah.
naughty little witch."
Because it got too mainstream for me. I was too
It does
edgy
kind of.
for
It feels like it still fuels witch talk, but that's not the one we're reviewing
yeah.
today.
No,
Not yet.
And we'll probably eventually review that one.
we are reviewing, in my opinion, the most problematic and the messiest.
Do you guys want me to
of
read some of my
American
notes?
Horror Story? Yeah,
do it.
because Logan actually watched the full season. We'll talk about just the pilot right now, but we'll get into spoiler talk too.
I'm only going to read my notes from the pilot episode.
Okay.
So at one point, Addie, I believe.
Yeah.
She's special needs, and she is talking to her mother, and she's like, "Why aren't
Played
you
by
watching
Jessica
TV? Why aren't you watching TV?" And she goes, "I put on Dora the Explorer," and she said, "It was Go Diego Go. I hate Go Diego Go." And I said, "I hate Go Diego Go as well, but your mom's still racist."
But
Because she
Fair enough.
was. I also noticed I was referring to Jessica Lange's character as Exposition Johnson the whole episode because her only rule of existing in the episode was for her to explain things and tell stories about the house for us like in camera. That was her only reason to exist there. So Exposition Johnson's anti-gay, I noticed. She's definitely done porn in the past. And she's kind of a fucking asshole.
yeah,
Fair enough.
So that's just a couple of notes I left about that. But there's things related to when we get further into the episode. But I just think that it's so crazy. Like every single time she'd pop up, Exposition Johnson would tell you a fact and then give you something to not like about her. It was like clockwork. She was like, this house is blah, 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 blah. And also lesbians are weird. And we're like, why? And she did it like a million times. She would say something important to the plot, like, these halls, they're haunted, they are. And also, blacks do not deserve to be in this house. Like every single time, bro. Says something horrible to the nun, or not the nun, the maid. Says something horrible to this person and and it'd be like,
who do you think's gonna steal these earrings?
Exposition, shitty comment about her parenting. Exposition, shitty comment about the kid being suicidal.
Yeah.
Exposition, shitty comment about how all men are worms. It happened every time.
It's true, because there's that scene where she's like, oh, they'll come looking at the maid to steal it, and then she goes, don't make me kill you again. So it's like, exposition, she's a fuckhead.
Yeah, exposition, we don't like her. That is the plot that is, especially in the pilot.
Yeah.
Every single time she comes in, she says something that's exposition to the plot, and then she says something to make you fucking hate her. Every time.
Yeah.
Every fucking time in this pilot. Also, Evan Peters' character. I'm just going to say, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the plot, but what happens with him, you can predict the big twist with this character 5 seconds into him being on screen. Because I did.
Yeah.
I turn to Frani and I go, this is the truth about this character. This is the big twist. And she goes, yep. And I'm like, I could tell because he looks like that's what it is.
Yeah. Should we kind of talk about what the first episode's about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
No, you can do it if you want.
Okay.
I'm going to get into the spoilers more. I feel like I have more to say post the first episode, and I know that neither of you are fresh on that, so I'm coming with the spoiler talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not fresh on it. I watched it kind of like over your shoulder a little bit while I was doing other things, but you watched a lot of it while I wasn't around. But yeah, so in the first episode, it centers around the Harmons. They're moving away, like we said in the Wikipedia, because the wife had a miscarriage and the husband cheated, and the daughter's just Violet. She's just kind of edgy, and they want her to have a fresh start too. So they move into this house. Well, they go to look at this house that is like way cheaper than it should be, and the person showing them around admits that it's because the previous family that lived there, it was two gay guys that lived there together. It was a murder suicide.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why it's so low. And edgy Violet, when she hears that, says, we'll take it. Mm-hmm. So they end up moving into this house, and right away shit's kind of like fucky.
I've got a lot of good notes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right away, shit's kind of fucky. The dad is actually a psychiatrist, and he's going to run his practice out of the house too. He has this patient come in that he, like later down the line of this episode, this is all in the first episode, right? Where you meet Tate and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he has a new patient come in, Tate, and basically like baby Columbine is who this kid is. It's fucked up, but it's true. Like this is like Columbine,
or just everyday high school.
This is
in America
a
now.
Sandy Hook kid.
Yeah, it fucked up. This whole episode is like littered with triggers.
Yeah,
I mean
there is aggressive self-harm intercut with normal conversation without warning.
Yeah.
So like seriously, like Ryan Murphy's a fucking joke. Like he does things to be shock factory.
Yep.
He's a sensationalist in the way he shoots things. Understand before you watch the show, like serious trigger warning. There's gonna be like very fucked up imagery, pretty much that will catch you off guard. So just prepare for that. That's very real.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And so Tate's kind of like this edgy kid that the dad feels like might be like a threat to the school and like just to like anybody around.
Yeah, Tate's the kind of guy to get like Nevermind tattooed on his arm.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like he's so aggressively grungy, it's annoying.
Yeah.
He's the asshole who has like born October 3rd, 1995, and then it says 2, and then it's just a little semicolon.
Right.
Because he lives forever. No.
But yeah, and he like meets the daughter and they have a little like edgy moment together. And I also
wrote I want to say some things about Violet.
Yeah.
Who's the worst?
Yeah, that's the one that they show the self-harm with.
Violet is a douche who decided they were buying the house over everybody else.
Yep.
The cigarette scene with her is dumb as fuck.
Yep. True.
Yeah, they have like this like edgy scene with Violet where she's at school and like she's like walking down a hallway smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I wrote right here. Yeah, the cigarette scene, exactly. Yeah. And then I wrote right here, like, these girls should be mean to her. She sounds annoying.
Also, the girl who plays her bully is like the worst actress in the world and overreacted within 5 seconds. Dude,
like, I actually, the cigarette scene in its entirety is dumb for more than just Violet. Like, it's actually just really bad. It's just like bad. From beginning to end, it's a terrible scene. You do not get a physical bully over something that minor.
Yeah, like the first day of school, she has a like physical altercation over the fact that like she smoked a cigarette.
This girl's like, eat this fucking cigarette. That doesn't happen.
No.
Everybody would be like, you're a sociopath. Go touch grass.
Yeah, but yeah, so she has like this like bully moment, and then like right after meets Tate. And obviously the dad like freaks out that they like met, and like he tries to call like authorities on them to no avail, and like on him. And then this is all in the pilot too. They take Tate and Violet like team up and like torture that girl.
Yeah, so they convince that girl to come over because she's been bullying her. And he basically, all of a sudden the bourgeoisie's in the basement with like this giant monster and they're fucking this chick up. Yeah. It's shot terribly.
It's bad.
It's something to say that it looked like a 9 Inch Nails music video in a bad way. And that's what I was going to say. I actually have one more note about the way it's shot. And I just really want to make sure I say it because I felt this. I wrote, bad zooms, shot like Glee. Aggressive self-harm, shot in brilliant lighting and showing that this could be a good idea or romantic. Bad show, I got all the twist endings right off the top. More aggressive self-harm put throughout the entirety of the show and tells you effectively to kill oneself. Dare would never do this. I mean, there's a lot of ways where they glorify the idea of death.
Yeah.
And like the permanence of it, and also like the idea of like tragically placed in life and not fitting in. But then it glorifies this idea of self-harm and suicide. I mean, it's really fucking gross.
They make murder suicide into like a romantic gesture multiple times in the show.
And like that's because like Ryan Murphy's like a sick fuck.
Yeah.
And also it's so clear how badly he wants to fuck Evan Peters by the way he shoots him. He shoots him like
a porno.
What's the name of the chick from I Know What You Did Last Summer? Do you remember who I'm talking about? The main chick?
Yeah, I know.
Is it like
about.
Camila Cabello?
No, it's some I can't remember the fucking name right now.
Her. I know, like the Scream Queen.
The way that they shoot, the way they
Jennifer
shot
Love
Hewitt. He shoots Evan Peters the way horror movie directors in the 90s shot Jennifer Love Hewitt. In like the lustiest lust ways possible.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like he so badly wants to fuck this little boy.
Especially in the second season, the way it opens.
Oh my god, I know. It got even.
You'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like clear, like he shoots Evan Peters and like you're gorgeous, like you're like, you're a tortured Adonis, like you're this great, gorgeous thing. And that's even a part of his character with people saying like you're beautiful and stuff. But we'll get to that in the spoiler stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think that the entire concept of the show is flawed because it's a really gross idea to romanticize what they do.
Yeah. And like for an impressionable like teenager, like this was not a good show for like the audience that it was marketed to.
I don't know if it did a good enough job that it warranted a warning.
It
for
didn't.
People who were watching it.
Oh no,
I don't think it was believable at all for people to be like, "Yes, self-mutilation."
Well, no, but seriously,
it
romanticizes it and makes it like this edgy idea. Like, you know how people like live their life as though they're in a Tim Burton movie?
That's true.
That's absolutely what these zillennials have been doing with American Horror Story. Is that they live their life in like this like kind of campy, extra aggressive self-harm horror. Like the amount of overalls that are bloodstained or like fake bloodstained as a result of this show is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
That's awful.
It's a total subculture.
It is.
Like shit bro film students, they love American Horror Story.
Yeah, and like also just like it's a problematic show, and I feel like people And I feel like the fact that it's still running is weird. That like Ryan Murphy, Logan and I were talking about this. Like we feel like Ryan Murphy's gonna have like gonna be canceled.
He's gonna be Me Too because he's such a demented fuck.
Yeah, like some of the concepts. You're telling me nothing happened.
And Brad Falchuk too. Like that guy's fucked up because the way that they just keep coming at this show with so much like aggressive violence and horror and gore, but never make any moment fun is astounding to me. I mean, like, I understand the concept of making it really hard to deal with, like, horror drama, but occasionally there's something fun that you're interested in. Something that, like, you actually want to watch happen. You know, there's payoffs. Like, if we can reference Squid Game for a second, Squid Game's a very aggressive, violent show, but a lot of the time there was elements in the show that would make you excited, almost like you were watching a reality show, and things you wanted to happen. This show doesn't have that. There's no moment where you're like, man, I sure hope this happens. You're just like, wow, this really sucks. I feel bad. That's what this show does. I feel bad now. I don't feel good in my stomach.
It felt like they were literally going from plot point to plot point, and it wasn't even a plot point. It was like, okay, what screwed up thing can we get to the next screwed up thing and have something in between where it's docile? And I hated that. I want there to be some kind of story. If you're going to make me sit through blood and gore and guts, then like give me something.
Yeah, this is totally not the type of show you'd normally gravitate towards. Like, what did you think of it?
It's balls.
Yeah,
it's not good.
It's balls.
I had another couple of notes about this. If you guys were okay,
yeah, do it.
Oh yeah, I'm not done talking about it.
So I wrote, Dad likes to be naked, crying after jerking off after seeing an old woman fap.
He masturbates twice.
Yeah,
was seen by mysterious stranger. And then I also wrote, Dad sees gimp outfit. Dad's wet.
Yeah. So to elaborate on those points, so.
One more.
Okay.
This one was a quote. Can I pet your dog? She said she shouldn't have done. She said she shouldn't have done that in reference to the dog protecting itself. So like what happens is this girl walks up, this Addie girl, she goes, can I pet your dog?
Special needs.
And Violet's, or no, it's actually the mom. The mom's like, no. And then she's like, pets the dog anyway. And the dog's like, bark. Right, and she's like, you'll pay for that. And it's just like that. And I just wrote, that dog's going to die. Fuck you, Ryan Murphy.
Right. It's just like unnecessary. But yeah, to elaborate on the maid thing of it all. So the house, like people keep like showing up at the house. And one of the like people that show up at the house is the maid. And the mom's like, no, we don't need a maid. But she's like, oh, like, and like she's this like nice old lady. She's like, I've like worked for this house for years. Like I pretty much come with the house. Like I'm not gonna charge you guys much. Like I just love taking care of this house. Like let me do my job, please. So she hires her. But when the dad comes into the room and sees her, he doesn't see the old lady that we're seeing. He sees like a like hot young maid in like a sexy outfit. And he's like so confused why his wife would hire her, and kind of feels like almost like acts like he's like being trapped by it. So later he's...
What a dumb dynamic.
Yeah.
You simply buy a hot woman so you feel attacked by it.
Yeah.
Like maybe you should mind your fucking business.
But yeah, so she's like, the wife isn't home and the maid's home. And the husband's like walking around the house, and he walks into a room and sees Moira, the maid, like fapping.
Yeah.
And he like goes and like jacks off and cries. Just
I got that
very
in my
aggressively.
note.
Yeah.
You can tell that Ryan Murphy also has a thing for Dylan McDermott, because literally he's naked so often. You're just like, yeah, that makes sense.
A couple more notes about Dylan McDermott. The gimp suit scene. I wrote gimp suit. Oh
God!
Not her husband 100. Like I was already certain.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't certain until the end of the episode.
Oh,
I wrote
really?
that in
the moment.
And I wrote, he fucks her better than her husband does. LOL cucked. And then I wrote, older woman comes in and is nuts. This is terrible. Basement scene. And then there's a moment when Evan Peters is like helping her like trap this girl in the basement, where there's a flash cut of Evan Peters going, helter skelter. Why is that in there? Why is it shot like a fucking it's shot like a Marilyn Manson music video? It's so fucking bad. He's trying to act normal for this chick and acting like, no, I'm not doing anything too crazy. Yeah. But he's literally, there's a flash cuts of him going helter skelter into the camera, and it's like, what the fuck am I watching? And that's in the pilot, bro.
I ate this shit up at the time too. Like I fucking loved this.
Give me a soda pop. Thirsty.
But yeah, the gimp suit, the wife and the husband like find it in the basement, and then like
attic.
Oh, the attic. Yeah, the attic. and they just kind of like leave it there. But they haven't
Well,
been.
no,
having,
he throws it away.
Oh yeah, he throws it away. Yeah, and they haven't been like having sex after the miscarriage, and then they like
they do
finally
fuck,
get it.
they
They
fuck,
get it on that night.
And they said he said something before they fucked that I thought was weird.
Yeah,
I wrote it down. He said, "Hold on, one more second."
I find it like it's almost a rape trigger of like the fact that he comes in and it's like that's not her husband.
Yeah,
you know that.
No,
and
it's
like,
fucked
what
up.
the
It's
shit?
fucked up. And
they make the wife into like such a like they just victimize her in every way. It's really bad
Hate it.
throughout the show.
Also, please wear pleather, not leather.
So I just want to point that he said when he was talking about their sex, he said, and I quote, "It's a little weird," and then they got excited and yell fucked each other. That's odd, right? What do you mean your sex is a little weird? What does that mean? And why is that something you guys are talking about out in the open like that?
I was like, do people actually talk about that in real life when
and
they're
say
married?
that it's weird, like out
Yeah,
loud? Like I think
never.
the weird sex people have, that nobody talks about it afterwards. We're just like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Nobody goes like, what about that weird shit we do?
Yeah.
What the fuck? In a serious argument about like
Aren't I so kinky, babe?
about each other's like needs and fucking like child death and shit.
So
They're talking
weird.
about all this serious shit and he goes, and we fuck a little weird and I miss that. And it's like, what, bro? You're so strange. Please sit down. Go away.
This is awful.
Yeah, he's bad vibes always.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else we want to say about the pilot? Because I'm ready to jump
I want to
into
hear spoilers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
Well, first, is there any like let's give our number
Yeah.
right now for the
Okay.
pilot.
And who we are.
I'm gonna give.
Oh yeah, who we are.
And who we fuck.
So I know me as a freshman in high, as a little 14-year-old would have given this a 10 out of 10, but I've since grown and now realize this is poo poo, and my whole identity was a lie.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But no, I would say this show now is like a 5.
Wow, that's
Dropped
a
a lot.
drastic drop.
Dropped a lot.
It's also
Yeah,
very giving.
It's
Or
a,
this
it's a
pilot
3 for
is now
me.
a 5. Yeah.
It's a 1 for me, dog.
Wow.
Like, at least I feel like even Scream, even though I hated it and knew what was happening, I still at least like the characters more, I guess. So, like, that really tells you something that this is shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I thought like the nostalgia would be enough for me to like really rate this highly,
Yeah.
but it like I wish I would have just let it live in nostalgia. I forgot how triggering this show is
I'm sorry.
and how like fucked up this is for like people, you know? Like it just makes me sad that like this is a show that exists. It just shouldn't. All right, we can get into spoiler talk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh, okay. We already rated it. We didn't say who we were gonna be.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think
do
we're
we-
just over it.
Do we want to say?
I think
I
we're
don't
just
think,
over it.
I don't think we
we're
want
just
to
over
say
it. I think
who
we're
we
good.
are
I
in
think
this.
I'm good.
It's problematic to say you're anybody in this.
I'm the dog who bites that one girl.
Yeah.
Because she deserved it.
At that time, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
And I don't think we need a fuck, marry, kill in this either. It just
No,
seems
we're
like totally
good. We're
fucked.
good. I
My
think all
answer's
these.
not. It's just Evan Peters, I think. But
All
not
3?
But not the character. It's just Evan Peters.
Well, he's problematic as a
And
person.
that's why I'd kill him too.
Yeah.
But
But
once only after you fucked and married him for his money and his, you know,
Yeah, and then
as
like
Ryan
widow
Murphy would say, his
yourself.
body,
his body.
which is, you know, that of just a small boy. It seems. I don't understand why people are so into it, but whatever.
Really?
He just kind of seems like a stringy man, doesn't he? Like I don't get why people find him so hot, but whatever.
Okay.
You know, no judgment. I'm not one to talk. But anyway, spoilers. Here we go. Okay. All right. Let's start off with the baseline spoilers. Let's get to the plot endings of certain characters. All right.
Okay.
So the Addie girl. All right. She is later like there's like the older woman has like a hot boyfriend, right?
Okay.
And she like is like hanging out with this hot boyfriend and like, you know, having fun and shit like that. And at one point, right before Halloween, she decides she wants to go as a pretty girl. So
Yeah.
so Violet puts makeup on Addie's face. And when she comes home, the mother's so mad that she throws her into a closet filled with nothing but mirrors
Yeah.
and locks her inside and
What?
says, "Look, are you a pretty girl?"
I just sent that in the group chat for a reminder, Cody. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucked up.
Okay, so that character then, like, the mother feels bad. She buys her a female mask and goes, "Now you can be a pretty girl," because it's a woman's face.
That's messed up.
It fucks up her periphery vision, And when she's trying to keep up with a couple of girls trick-or-treating, she gets hit by a car and dies.
What?
Yes. This is like episode 3 or 4.
Okay.
Now, what we come to find out is people who die in that house haunt that house. So Constance, the mother, the woman who's definitely problematic, Exposition Johnson, as I call her, she's trying to drag Addie's dead body over to the house to die on the lawn so she can haunt the house. She pushes off the paramedics and drags her dying body onto the grass, but she dies before she gets there.
Good.
And Addie's glad she died before she died.
Yeah, I know. It's like, then you're trapped in that house haunting it.
Mm-hmm. And she talks to a medium later, and she's like, Addie's happy and like thinks that ghosts are sad as fuck, and like, LOL, I'm a pretty girl now, get fucked. And so that's basically what happens there. All right, the Evan Peters character. If you noticed, he only ever is around at that house. Mm-hmm. If you notice, he looks like he might have Crohn's or be a ghost, but it's both.
Whoa.
Ooh. And he's also 90s because he's died a while ago.
In 94. My friend, after finding out... So what we find out is that spirits can move freely on Halloween. Really dumb. Okay. Is never reincorporated in any other AHS property.
They kind of exist separately. They're not really supposed to.
It doesn't matter though. Like you make a rule that big, you should incorporate it into multiple things. Build your universe. Because isn't there like a season where you find out all these universes are connected?
I lost track of all
this.
There's
a multiverse. There's a cinematic universe.
I think there might be, or there might be like a small connector, but these actors play different people.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Smith's universes and stuff. Like he has same actors play different characters in the same universe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we find out Evan Peters was because all these kids keep chasing them around on the only date that him and Violet have out of the house. He's able to take her out on Halloween because he's dead. She doesn't know that he's dead yet. Nobody knows that he's dead yet.
Could other people see him?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can let other people see you. But they're chilling at the beach because they're allowed to wander wherever they want that day. So he's like, I'll take you on a date on Halloween. We'll go to the beach. And then what happens is a bunch of teenagers who are like, look like they're all in like dead makeup and stuff, but clearly are ghosts because you know that ghosts are walking freely, are chasing them. And you come to find out that he was a school shooter and these are the students he murdered. All right. Evan Peters part 2. You find out that Evan Peters is actually, what happened is the Constance lady who lives across the street, remember she kept saying, I had one child who was beautiful. It's Evan Peters' character. She used to live in the house across the street and he got killed by the police after they found him after the school shooting.
And he was hiding in the house?
Yes, he was, and he died in the same room that Violet sleeps in. He was shot to death in there. Okay? So that's her son, okay. Right? Now, you may be wondering, who's Gimp Suit Man?
Yeah.
Okay, the person who took the Gimp suit from the trash can was Evan Peters. Evan Peters raped Violet's mom.
What?
Yeah.
And he impregnated her.
But the dad also.
The dad impregnated her during the same ovulation period. So there was 2 congruent, separate babies growing in the fetus at the same time.
So she has 2 uteruses.
No, this is actually a thing that can happen. You can get 2 different sperms in one ovulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really rare.
Yeah.
Something that only a ghost dick could do. Space dick from coast to coast, baby. But no, so that happens.
Go to space for that dick. Sorry.
The whole time he's keeping a secret from Violet, right? Meanwhile, let's go to the Violet plot point. So Violet the whole time is basically like, I don't fit in with the other kids because I'm real edgy and different. And she's really into Evan Peters' character. And she's also upset that her mom's pregnant and she had to deal with, a miscarriage so recently in the past that she was worried because her mom was older. So she found that like upsetting for herself. She knew her parents should be separated. Mm-hmm. And she was just feeling a lot of anxiety about having moved to California and like they're already talking about like separating and selling this house. So while she's stressed out about that, she comes to be closer with Evan Peters' character Tate. But then through like Constance, like the old woman across the street who's his mom, and like just like, finding out about who he is on the internet and shit. Because she found out about the massacre because these teenagers that were following him around, the ghost, the whole time were like, Google it. If you don't know about it, fucking Google it. We're pretty fucking famous. We're like the Midtown, murdered seniors or some shit. And so she finds out that Tate used to be alive. She finds out definitively that Tate killed those people and he's a ghost. but he's claiming he can't remember that he ever died or why he ever died.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't understand that he's a ghost, according to like what she's being told. But we later find out that he did know he was a ghost. But anyway,
was there a reason why he raped the mom, or is that just like a
we'll get to
random
that.
thing?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm getting through as much as I can.
Okay.
So then what happens is Tate. So she finds out that Tate's all these things, and it makes her depressed because like Tate, did all that horrible shit. She has a horrible life, and she takes a bunch of pills and tries to kill herself.
Okay.
And at the time, you think she failed. You think he got her to barf them all up. But you later find out that the reason she's so depressed and won't leave the house or anything is because she actually died and Tate didn't know how to tell her. She killed herself, and now she's haunting the house with him.
Yeah.
And the whole time the parents just think she's being stubborn and won't go to school. And they keep getting all these truancy calls like, why isn't your daughter going to school? And she keeps saying, it's because I'm depressed and I don't want to go. And then eventually Tate like tells her like, dude, you're a fucking ghost. You killed yourself.
Wow.
Triggering.
That sucks.
And you see the way you find out is eventually he walks her up on her decaying body, and it shows like the most gruesome decaying body I've ever seen.
That he just like that.
And
obviously nobody's
he
dealt
hid
with.
in the fucking basement.
I was gonna say. Oh, okay.
He hid in the basement, and it was found by a guy who was trying to figure out what like all the. There was like a lot of bugs coming into the house.
Yeah.
It was exterminating. He was trying to find the source of like why so many bugs were there. And when he did that, Evan Peters killed that guy too, so he wouldn't tell anybody that he found like this dead girl under the basement.
Okay.
So the two guys, the gay couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't true to each other. They were like, cheating on each other a lot. And at one point on Halloween, they decided that they were like not going to have a baby and break up. And for some reason that incentivized Tate to put on the gimp suit that they had bought to like sexually excite each other, and kill them with it. So he kills both of those dudes in the house, and that's how they die. And he makes it look like a murder-suicide.
Okay.
We come to find out that way earlier, when the house was first built, it was built by this couple, this doctor and this rich woman. And she was like, they were falling on hard financial times because this doctor was like a Dr. Frankenstein type, and he was doing shit off the record. So they started doing under the table abortions. And because of that, somebody found out they were doing abortions, stole their baby, mutilated it, and gave it back to them. He reassembled the baby and brought it back to life. And I think they killed it together, and she killed herself. But she haunts the house saying like she regrets what she did and she just wants a baby. So what Evan Peters is trying to do, he's another ghost in the house, and he like likes her more than he likes his mom, this woman from the past. So he's trying to make her a baby. And that's why he raped that chick's mom.
That's messed up. That's awful.
And it works.
That's awful.
That baby takes all the necessary nutrients from the other baby, and the other one's like a stillborn.
What?
And she gives birth in the house at 6 months.
And is the baby a ghost?
Actually, they confirm in the show that the baby is the Antichrist.
Well, there's two babies.
Well,
the
right.
one that is stillborn, you find out in the last episode, it did like live for a second before it was
and
stillborn.
And then it's a ghost baby in the house that all of them take care of.
Yeah, because
that's going to be a baby forever. That's going to be a baby forever. It's a ghost baby.
Yeah, because the mom dies during childbirth.
Yep, and then as you know, the daughter killed herself, and then they convinced the dad not to kill himself and to try to raise the baby on his own. But
the one that was living.
But he's murdered. Do you want to know who he's murdered by?
Oh God.
Do you remember the chick that he cheated on his wife with?
Yeah.
Turns out he cheated on her. He cheated on his wife again with her just a couple of weeks before they moved, and she was pregnant. She came trying to get involved with his life, and the burn dude killed her with fetus. Like, killed that girl. I forgot about this. He buried her at his lawn because he didn't know there was ghosts in his house, and he built a gazebo on top of her corpse. And then she started haunting the house. So when he was trying to leave with the baby, she choked him to death and took his baby. Ghost version of her, played by Kate Mara.
But how did she leave?
She didn't leave.
Okay, so the child is still there.
No, eventually Constance comes up and takes the baby back, and she raises the baby on her own.
So the baby that like lived,
the
like
one that
lived was Tate's.
The
Tate's baby, the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we see that because there's a flash forward 3 years later, and he murdered his housekeeper, and he's smiling, and he like ate her blood and shit. And it's really fucking stupid.
And like Constance isn't like.
And Constance like, what am I gonna do with you? Because her kids are fucked up. She had Addie. She had a fucking like
school shooter.
school shooter, but she also had that one that lived in the attic who was like special needs and like deformed, and they kept him chained up to a bed.
I forgot about that.
And then one day the burn dude was dating what's her face in the past, and he smuggled that thing to death with a pillow. Do you see what I'm saying where I say Ryan Murphy forgets to put the entertaining part in the show and he just makes it dreadful from beginning to end? 12 hours of agony and watching people suffer. There's a scene where he actually makes us believe that she microwaved the dog.
Does the dog die?
It does not die. It's the only member of the family that lives.
Good. Okay.
It's adopted by the lady who sells the houses.
But
the
then
realtor.
it romanticizes it kind of at the end and shows like, so at the end on the final episode, it shows like that realtor showing the house to like a new family and like Violet like flirting with the guy, like the son and like shit like that. But then like the whole family kind of joins in and scares that family from moving there.
Fucking crazy to scare them away. Because they're like, we don't want anybody living in this house because it's a nightmare to live here, and you will end up becoming ghost in it yourself because all of them did.
They just kind of have like a happy family scene at the end with like a tree and like the baby in their arms.
and the gay couple and the Christmas tree and the family, and then in the background is Evan Peters sobbing and Kate Mara, and she's like, "You're never gonna get Violet back." He's like, "I will one day. I'll wait forever." And she's like, "Nah, dude, she's never gonna be with you, bro. You raped her mom. It's not gonna happen."
Yeah. You didn't tell her she died. You caused her mom to die in a way. Like, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what this show is.
It's bad.
I mean, I knew that, but like, what is it trying? I guess it's trying to be good. Okay,
it's trying to be. So it's early on in like horror, television, and there wasn't a lot of good horror television out then. And I think he was trying to just be shocking and provocative. He was trying to do the same thing he does with Glee and tap into that, like, this is also edgy and cool to watch. Like, it's like trying to be like, yes, like, it is a ridiculous show, but it's going to be edgy and you're going to be cool as fuck for being into it. The same way, like, teen girls were into, like, Glee. They were trying to do the same thing with American Horror Story, but just for hipsters.
Weird. Very weird.
And there's more to come. Asylum is...
Wait, let me see if there's any extra spoiler notes I want to read. Hold on, this could be good. The reenactment killers. We forgot about them. There's these killers. So there was a murder that took place in this house where it used to be like a sorority house kind of thing.
Okay.
And a nurse and a woman going through medical school were murdered by this guy. And there's these reenactment killers who are obsessed, and one of them pretends to be a patient of the therapist's dad. And then they all break in and try to reenact the murders on his family. And they're all murdered by Tate. All three of them.
Wow.
And it's insane how it happens. It's like the most... And the reenactment killer actors are the worst actors and actresses you've ever seen in your entire life.
That sucks. Okay.
It's just an insane journey.
It does a plot with the Black Dahlia as well. It includes the Black Dahlia and its origins.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought there was a thing with that.
They did the Black Dahlia, and then what happened was the guy who actually did the Black Dahlia murder is the one who fucking delivers what's-her-face's baby.
Yeah.
As well as he fucking does it again to there was the boyfriend dude was murdered by the Kate Mara ghost, the boyfriend of like Constance, and he wanted to be famous and like, we'll make you famous in another way. So they chop up his body like the Black Dahlia and place him in the park using the burn guy, and he's dubbed the Boy Dahlia.
Oh.
And then like literally in one scene he's like posing with the Black Dahlia chick.
I don't like that.
This is so weird. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's literally fucking terrible. Also, there's a school shooter scene where Evan Peters is like walking through the high school, right?
With like the normal people scare me and like the fucking like skeleton makeup on his face and shit.
Yes.
What?
So he wore skeleton makeup on his face in the active shooter scene.
Yeah.
But then in the library, he didn't have it on when he killed all those kids.
I don't know.
Like not even consistency.
What is it with Ryan Murphy and school shooters? He like did it on Glee.
Yeah. There was like gifs of like there was somebody
I think that was something pretty relevant at the time. Yeah. 2011 was like really a peak in like when that was happening and like, you know what I mean? Like it was a hot topic again because Sandy Hook wasn't that long before that, and then not that long later came the Parkland shootings. Like it's a hot button subject. I think that it makes sense for him to incorporate it in his media. I just think he always does a bad job at it.
Yeah. And like being on Tumblr during the time when like this came out, there are so many like thirst gifs of like Tate like as the school shooter and shit, like just like problematic.
What?
Yeah.
When I tell you this show is gross and he's a sensationalist and like is pretty much making gross content for the sake of it getting more eyeballs on it. Like he's nasty.
Dangerous.
It's not
content.
fucking cool. Like it's really not. Like especially the earlier stuff. I think it gets more tame as it goes on. But like this first season had aggressive self-harm in many shots. Like many. And like openly people committing suicide hanging by ropes or slitting their wrists or shooting their faces. Like very openly in camera violence.
Yeah.
On a network show.
Fox will do anything.
Yeah, they really will.
So
and
weird.
so will Ryan Murphy.
Anyways. He should be in an asylum.
Good segue.
You're welcome.
Hey, looking for more content? Check out Crosscut Cinema where me, Franny, and my friends review movies. Or check out a pilot podcast where we review TV pilots with recording artist CL Blue. Or hey, check out me hanging out with my friends on Average Joe Interviews. Socials and links are in the bio. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, it's CL, and I just wanted to come on and say I have a brand new song out right now. It's called Big Night In, and I hope you guys like it. It's available on all streaming platforms right now. Hey guys.
Oh my God. We just didn't. We're back. It's time.
Oh no.
We're going to talk about the second installment of American Horror Story. Asylum.
It sounds like it wants to be so metal. American Horror Story Asylum. It's trying way too hard. It sounds like one of those shitty movie companies who like copies a movie that just came out, like Jurassic Carnival, shit like that. Or like, what was it? Isn't there one like about a priest where it's like Velocipaster or something? And it's about a priest
horrible.
That's a dinosaur. That's the kind of movie that a company called American Horror Story Asylum would make.
Yeah.
Trying so fucking hard, dude. Trying so hard.
I feel like Glee is just a ripoff of Happy Feet.
Yes.
How much better would that show have been if everybody knew it as Happy Feet? It's a show about youths who love to dance.
There's also school shooters.
Yeah. There's school shooters and sexual violence. It must be written by Ryan Murphy.
Well, get ready for some more sexual violence. Do you want to hit us with that Wikipedia?
Yeah, American Horror Story Asylum is the second season of the American FX horror anthology series by Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk. It aired in 2012 to January 2013. The premise of the second season marked a departure from the series' first season, featuring all new characters, a new location, making it an anthology series. It begins in 1964 at the fictional mental institution Briarcliff Manor, following the stories of the staff and inmates who occupy it. It returns some cast members in new roles, such as Evan Peters, Dylan McDermott, and features breaking star Sarah Paulson.
Just wanted to...
Breakout star.
I got two notes about this pilot. Clea Duvall can get it.
Which one's that one?
That's the partner of Sarah Paulson. The one who's the school teacher.
Okay. Yeah.
I love Clea Duvall. I've loved her in everything she's been in. And Jessica Lange sang the word stupid at one point. So like when she's yelling at the younger nun and she's like, I should have believed them when they said you're blah, blah, blah. I ignored them when they said you're stupid. And she literally like hits a note. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's just like weirdly
she's saying the word stupid out of nowhere in the middle of her talking. And I could tell it was like a bad take. And they're like, no, keep it in. It comes off genuine. It comes off like she's like, speaking like a real person. Like sometimes people do just sing the word stupid. Like, no, it's bad. Do a reshot.
Yeah.
Reshoot that
Jessica
scene.
Lange's one of the best actresses in the whole
Every
series.
scene where it's her and Sarah Paulson, I'm like, oh, wait, there's art here. Because they're both really great actresses. Mm-hmm. But it's a bad show. I think that parts of it are even worse than Murder House.
This one's less fun. This one has way less
fun. Neither of them are any fucking fun.
But this one has even less levity.
There's no latex suit.
Right?
What? I don't want to watch it.
This one feels very like Island of Dr. Moreau, Shutter Island wannabe, like very like secluded and like olden castle, like weird German subtext, Nazi scientists
very
going
Nazi
on.
scientists.
It's very much like wanting to be Shutter Island in that way. And
it does want to be Shutter Island.
I feel like it would go up an edge point for me if they just made the whole thing black and white, because it's shot in such poor colors anyway. Just give me a black and white to give me an era feel, because that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
But your cameras are too glossy and it's shot too much like Glee. You got too many zoom in shots. What you do is you rip the color off of it, you put it in a stark black and white, and you add some atmosphere, put in some old music, and you instantly elevate your project, because that's what you're trying to do without actually doing it.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, because this one, I feel like the cinematography is better in this one, but I know nothing about cinematography.
It's still bad. And the thing is like the inspired moments are good, but like even the lens he's using is a problem. Like he needs a different lens. He needs different lighting. He needs it to change. He's shooting it more. It's shot like it's an episode of like Gossip Girl in some ways.
Yeah.
And like, or like, I'm trying to think, like the OC, like the beginning with like they're going inside the house and Adam Levine has his hair plugs and they're fucking everywhere. That whole scene, his hair plugs are nuts, bro. That whole scene feels like such a current show. And those are the scenes that are the best for me because it's shot like a current show. But then they flash back to like this older story and they do nothing.
It feels like
to give it credibility of old, other than like
some costuming.
Things look sadder and people look poorer.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they do. Oh, and there's racism.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. And aliens. And we get this all in the pilot.
Yeah, you get a lot in the pilot.
And like Frani accidentally spoiled something for me without realizing it, without even knowing that she spoiled it. And we'll get into that in the spoilers.
Yeah, so basically...
But I just want to say it's a predictable plot again.
Yeah, so the plot. It centers around Briarcliff, and pretty much your entry point to Briarcliff in the pilot is through Lana, the reporter. Lana Winters, local lesbian.
That's a tag on Twitter for sure.
Local lesbian.
At local lesbian.
Shout out if you exist.
Right. But just like American Horror Story season 1, there's multiple plot lines happening. But Lana's is, I feel like, the biggest one in the pilot. So she's a reporter and she is getting into Briarcliff on the pretense that she is going to write about their bakery. Mm-hmm. And Jessica Lange's character, like the head nun of Briarcliff, she's like got an interview with her on it. Well, actually, Lana Winters went there because Bloodyface is being admitted today. Serial killer known as Bloodyface, played by Evan Peters.
Was supposedly the person they think is Bloodyface, but it's so clear based on what you get in the beginning of the pilot that he was abducted by fucking aliens and is not responsible for these murders.
Yep.
Also, they the way they rip so like absolutely from Ed Gein to me is almost disrespectful to the victims, because they make this Ed Gein type serial killer sound like sexy to the media, and like there's people inside the prison that are like, the asylum that are impressed by him, and it's really weird to do that based off of an actual killer. I think that's really gross and weird.
Yeah.
So
like his killer thing is like he's like skinning these people and
making
stuff
furniture
like
out of them, which is exactly what Ed Gein did. And they even said like right off the bat that was their basis for this. You know, they wanted to do like a Texas Chainsaw kind of thing.
It's a bit yikes. But yeah, so getting to that plot point. So what we've known about that is Evan Peters, it shows him and his wife who's black, and like they kind of like hide that they're married because of the times. And he thinks they're gonna like they might have like be being attacked by like local racists because like something like starts happening around their house, like this big like flash of light.
This is after a sex scene that is shot in a way that makes you think the person who's in charge of shooting the scene wanted to fuck Evan
sex with
Peters
him.
and wanted nothing to do with his gorgeous wife.
Literally just wants him in his whitey tighties and that's it.
Yeah. So right after that, his wife Alma goes like into the kitchen to cook him dinner, and he hears Alma scream, and he goes out and like there's like a flash of bright white light, and he can't find her, and then like a bunch of weird shit happens, and he blacks out. Like very much like you kind of get told right away it's aliens. You see like creepy fucking hands and shit, and then immediately from that we're taken to Lana Winters and Briarcliff, and that's when, because of that, they think he's the killer because Alma died in the same way where it's like she was skinned and everything. So he's being taken into Briarcliff's custody that day, and Lana Winters actually came there to get an interview with Bloody Face. When the nun finds out, she kicks her out, and later that day she like tries to sneak back in, and she finds like this like secret passageway, and this other nun there, Sister Mary Eunice, who is supposed to be kind of like a naive nun, she is like sneaking out for yet another plot line with the Nazi doctor. There's like a Nazi doctor that runs his own secret operation out of Briarcliff, where he's doing like
an MK Ultra kind of thing. Yeah,
where he's doing
Hydra
like
shit.
Experimental surgeries on like lobotomies, but worse.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's kind of like convincing like Sister Mary Eunice to help him with like very like minor tasks. But Lana Winters finds the tunnel through her and convinces her to sneak her back in. And when she's snuck in, she's found by the head nun lady, and that lady goes back to her wife or her girlfriend, played by Clea Duvall, and basically threatens to expose her as a lesbian if she doesn't sign her over to her sign her girlfriend Lana Winters, the reporter, over to Briarcliff's custody.
Which, by the way, in that situation, you let her out.
Yeah, but I know, like, fuck, it's so fucked up. She's like a school teacher and doesn't want to lose her credibility, so she does it. But she does instantly regret it. You see that in like episode 2. Spoiler alert. I feel like that's not that much of a spoiler that she regrets signing her sister over, or her girlfriend over her sister. But yeah, so problematic.
What is Mary Eunice doing out in the woods?
Yeah,
that
you don't know.
Sarah Paulson catches her doing. Who knows?
Right? What did you think of this pilot? This shit.
What do you think is fucking bullshit?
I almost said this show, but I realized you did not watch the whole show.
Bullshit,
no, I did not watch the whole thing.
This was one I was really hyped about at the time and really liked, and upon rewatch, not so much. But what did you think?
I'll agree. I think the high points are actually like Sarah Paulson. I actually liked some of the Jessica Lange stuff.
When they're talking to each other after she discovers that why she's really there, and they're having that argument about morality, that's like the best scene for sure. Because he's letting two talented actresses or actors, whatever
do what they do,
just knock it out of the park. Yeah, you know, it's like if you've ever seen Tusk, the Michael Parks Johnny Depp scene is not necessarily like, doesn't really need to be there, but because you have two amazing actors that you just let the fucking film roll. And that's the best part of this whole pilot, is when they just let them talk about morality. And, you know, they have this spinning camera and this tense music as they're arguing back and forth. It's really impressive. Yeah. That's the best part.
This one is like, the overarching theme of this one is a lot of like sexual repressment and religious abuse. What did you think of this? You haven't seen it before, right? Or had you, Logan?
I think I saw the pilot with an edgy girl.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I definitely like watched the whole thing when it came out and everything, but I know some for spoiler talk. I don't remember everything, but I know like this one I feel like is less predictable than Murder House, at least.
I take cross with the woman playing the disabled lady who like murdered babies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I take a little bit of cross with that actress.
She looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, and she doesn't really look like that. And so for me, it kind of bothers me, I guess. I mean, I get that people can do that and they can do a great job at it, but it's something about also how it like he for some reason needs to have someone with a disability be represented in poor lighting in every one of his shows.
It's weird.
You know, like, I guess Becky's the most positive, but even with Becky, he doesn't really represent her in the best way in
Her
Glee.
name's not Becky.
In Glee.
Oh, in Glee?
I'm saying Ryan Murphy, he always has...
You meant Murder House, but yeah,
he always has a character like this in one of his shows for some reason. And he never makes them respectable characters or even real people. And it really fucking bothers me.
I never thought about that. That's a good point. What is his weird obsession with it?
I don't know. I think it's because he's like Tim Burton-esque. He likes like the odd and the strange, and I think he tries to incorporate that, especially in American Horror Story, where people kind of let him run wild with his deviant fucking creepy ass thoughts. And a lot of the time, it's just not good. Like, the problem with his story is that he's never leading to something entertaining or compelling. He's just leading to more despair.
Yep.
You just feel worse and worse as you watch it, no matter what season it is, it feels like.
And I'll say that this one is, I feel like, a little bit more tolerable because I think it's a bit more grounded, especially since you do have, I feel like, a little bit, not that the people in season 1 aren't talented, but like I feel like you have a higher caliber of people who are joining the cast and they're kind of delving more into a story point. But I still felt like we were going from point to point.
It's a lot of the same people because Sarah Paulson was in Murder House too, and Jessica Lange.
Was she?
Yeah, she's in later episodes. Yeah, she played the medium.
Interesting.
Evan Peters. You know, they're all a lot of the same people. But I do agree that like
there's more substance here.
There's more. They have a bigger story at the top.
Yeah,
where it doesn't feel like they're just adding random shit. But they also overinflate this plot. Like, I'm not going to get into details past the pilot because we're not in spoilers yet. But they overinflate the story. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely say that. I feel like that's one of American Horror Story's biggest problems through and through is they overcomplicate the fuck out of it. Like, do we really need lobotomy stuff, aliens, murder, like a serial killer? Like, do we need all of that? It's just a lot.
I don't know. You tell me in spoilers.
And he always adds relevancy to like obviously Bloodyface is in reference to Ed Gein. He couldn't use those specific names. But I mean, he references Black Dahlia in an earlier one. I know in one of the later shows, he does Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Like, maybe, you know, with the way you're handling this substance, I'm worried that it's not being treated with respect to those who were affected by it. Yeah. I think you can make a show, like, for instance, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is an actual elevation of material. So when they talk about, like, spoilers for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the movie, but they talk about, like, the Manson murders and stuff, they do it in an elevated way, and the changes they make are in a positive light. Whereas I feel like American Horror Story not only, like, reinvites these killers into something, but make them something bigger and greater, like almost like godlike figures in his shows.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're, like, main pulls for the show. Like, the most depraved characters in each season are the reason why everybody remembers that season. Like, everybody remembers Asylum for Bloodyface. Everybody remembers Freak Show for that fucking weird-ass clown dude. Everybody remembers Murder House for Evan Peters. Like, it's always the most problematic characters what carries it over.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really says something about Ryan Murphy, like we've been saying. But yeah, anybody else have anything
Brad
they want to...
Falchuk, you're fucked up too.
Anybody have anything else they want to add about the pilot before we rate it and get into spoilers? I feel like this is another one we shouldn't do a fuck, marry, kill for. It feels wrong.
No.
Or who we are. They're literally mental patients.
I don't think so.
/ trapped. Final thoughts?
A little bit better.
Little bit better?
Not great. This is like a 3 for me.
That's like a 3. Like the first one, when this came out, I was all about it and I loved it, and it would have been a 10 out of 10 at the time. Upon rewatch, it is a little bit better than the first season. I'd say it's like a 6.5.
I think it's better than the first season. It's like a 3.5.
Wow.
All right, we'll get into some spoilers. So like I said, I don't remember much.
So here's the thing. She goes, Zachary Quinto's character is a creep. I'm like, he's Bloodyface. The moment she said that, I'm like, he's Bloodyface. Guess what? He's Bloodyface.
Wow.
The therapist.
Yeah, he's the therapist for like, and he's supposed to be like evaluating Bloodyface.
And so I Googled the scene where like you find out where it is on one of our breaks, just to like get an idea. And he like the way she finds out is it's yet again in reference to Ed Gein, where there's a candy dish made from a human skull and there's a lampshade made out of human skin, and she's like in his apartment, and that's when she finds out that he's Bloodyface, and he like has a trap door that like drops her down. That is an exact piece by piece replica of Ed Gein's setup and exactly what he was doing. So yeah, it's a little gross.
Yeah,
it's a little nasty. And also, like, man, Ryan Murphy just wants to take every psychologist, therapist, whoever, and turn them into the most unlikable characters possible.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, Adam Levine loses his arm.
I was going to say, one of the most enjoyable things in that entire pilot was watching Adam Levine get his fucking arm ripped off.
And we didn't even talk
and how he
about
kneed
that.
his
That's
girlfriend in the
crazy.
face, like, get off me, bitch. And then he loses his arm. I was like, yikes, bro. It
was great.
Also, why is Bloodyface back? Do you remember? He's like murdering them.
Why is
in the
he
present?
alive?
I don't know because I haven't seen it.
I don't remember.
Dude, this is your thing.
I know, but like it was so. This show is so bad too. Like listen, I was gonna watch the full season again in preparation for this, and then I started to, and it just made me like upset to watch. It's so violent when it doesn't need to be. He like covers the fact that it's kind of bad with just extra violence and gore.
I've been saying this to you for years.
And you were fucking right.
I know.
Turns out Logan was right, as he usually is. But yeah, basically the ending of Asylum shows the ending of Briarcliff, and it just kind of like stops being an establishment at the end of the show. And fuck, I don't know what that is that kills it.
I'm looking into it right now.
Look into it because I'm curious. But some highlights. I would definitely say some highlights from this. So the head nun, I keep forgetting her name. The one that Jessica Lange plays. American Horror Story Asylum.
So apparently it's a group of pranksters and they are like acting like him.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
But the dude loses his fucking arm.
Well, that's what I'm trying to make sure.
What kind of prank is that?
Several teenagers in 2012 parodied Bloodyface identity and pranked the tourists in the ruins of Briarcliff, but at least one of them had gleefully gone murderous and attempted to kill people using the identity. And
That's
they pointed out because
stupid.
Apparently in the 1960s version, the original one had a demented grin stitched onto his face, and then the remake guy in 2012, who was the copycat, has an angry snarl.
Yeah.
So apparently it's just like
I literally forgot
someone
about that.
who liked him.
It's just bad.
But yeah, so Sister Jude is Jessica Lange's character. So Sister Jude has her own like plot line too, where she actually became a nun because she committed like a hit and run.
And killed the woman.
And killed a child. Killed a child.
Kept her glasses.
It was a child. And so she starts getting like haunted by that because Sister Mary Eunice, it
says she's possessed.
Yeah, right? She gets possessed.
Okay.
And it gets like
so there's demons.
Yeah, there's demons. Okay. So there's demons and possession. There's another kid that comes in that's like possessed by a demon.
Nice.
There's aliens.
So I did read that this is based on Waverly Hills Sanatorium, by the way, just throwing that out there.
Isn't that the one around here?
Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard.
What?
Yeah, he got the idea because he went to Waverly Hills Sanatorium or some shit. Got the idea for Asylum.
It's a lot happening in one asylum. And like, I feel like we could have just completely taken the aliens out.
So like,
you know,
what is the thing that they fed? Is it the aliens? That was what my guess was.
No, the thing that they fed is like, I think it's something to do with Dr. Arden, like the Nazi guy.
They're like reanimating body parts with dead people.
Is that what it was?
But here's the thing. They did that in the first fucking show.
Exactly.
Why are we doing it again? He's obsessed with like reanimating corpses.
Like we have another weird monster.
And then he's like, Rocky Horror is my favorite musical. It's like, bruh, that's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
You're fucking weird, Ryan Murphy.
Basically, Ryan Murphy has a fucking heyday with Asylum and just goes as weird as he possibly can.
So what did aliens have to do with it? Was it just he got abducted and that was it?
Yeah, he got like abducted. He gets basically they like wipe his he like gets like framed for it because of the abduction because he doesn't like remember like what fully happened.
Right.
And like he gets like an implant in him by the aliens.
His
Dr.
wife
Arden
is
finds
skinned
it.
and she's black,
Yeah.
and that's a relevant thing for the time period.
That's
as well.
why I was like wondering.
Yeah.
I was like, do they explain why she's skinned or?
I don't. I know the aliens put something in Evan Peters' character, and
Was
when
it a
they,
baby?
It was like a chip.
It was like a chip, and when the evil scientist guy finds it, he like thinks it's like basically people like sending him in to
This
investigate
chip
him.
grows legs and walks
Yeah.
around, and I'm like, oh, it's Spy Kids 2. Got it.
It's just a thumb. One of the walking thumbs walking around. Interesting. Yeah, this sounds horrible.
It's a lot.
And like people, the video of like her discovering its bloody face is the most popular scene in the whole season. And I watched it. It had like a bajillion views, and it looked terrible. She basically is walking around. And she's like, yeah, bloody face, blah, blah, blah. And then she sees this candy dish, and it's made of fucking skull and this lamp. And it's like, this is the big reveal scene. And I got bad vibes from Zachary Quinto immediately.
I just get bad vibes from Zachary Quinto. That's enough.
Right?
Yeah. But he was convincing though. He did like have a flip. I'll say that. He brought something to the role.
You pointed out something too. It was kind of a giveaway that he was first billing.
Yeah, he was the first billing on the show. So I was like, okay, so he's also
that.
When he
he's
wasn't
also
even
relevant.
in the pilot.
Yeah, I'm like, so he's really relevant for sure.
Interesting.
And it's even weirder because isn't Evan Peters after him? And Evan Peters is clearly the star of this season.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah, and he is definitely shot like a porno most of the time.
Dude, I know, dude. Brian Murphy wants to fuck him so bad.
Apparently, one of my friends was a big fan in high school, and she warned me. She's like, "There's a later season with Evan Peters where he has like blue hair or something like that, and it's literally shot like a porno. He's in like jail or something."
Jeez.
So I don't know.
Ryan Murphy does some fuck shit with Evan Peters. There's a later like the circus one is really fucking weird with Evan Peters.
Freak show.
Freak
we'll
show.
review it if you guys want us to.
But yeah, I think this one should be left in the past. I do not feel like diving back into this
I feel
one.
like this show should
be left in the past. I think they've ran out of stuff to do now, thankfully, and they'll stop doing it.
Season 2.
Yeah, but season 2 should have been the end.
I don't think it should have been.
Season 1 should have been the end. But like I said, I loved this at the time.
I mean, it was a springboard for a lot of people,
Yeah.
like Evan Peters and Sarah Paulson. Like, these were their breakout roles. So that's cool. We got some talented actors out of this.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess that's that.
I don't know. I also think that like there's a weird subculture that's obsessed with Sarah Paulson now. And I just don't think she's as great as everybody says she is. Like, she's good in these shows. But when they start putting her in extra shit, I'm always like, oh, please take her out of that. Like, when she was in, like, I think it was, what was it, Glass? What was it? Is that what it's called? What was the last part of the Unbreakable series? It was Unbreakable, Split, and then Glass, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't
I don't
very
even
good in
remember
that.
her in that. That's crazy.
She's the lady who was like running the facility.
Oh.
I was like, wait, can he pretty much use anybody else?
Yeah.
But she does a great Drew Barrymore impression.
Yeah, and I don't want Drew Barrymore in anything either. So
I love
that
Drew
doesn't help me.
Barrymore, but that's besides the point. Yeah, I don't really have anything left to say about Asylum besides don't watch it.
Yeah.
Coming from the person who's like literally American Horror Story used to be a part of your personality.
Yeah. And now I'm saying I should have been canceled.
All right, what else does everybody have to plug?
You can find Logan and I on a whole other podcast, Crosscut Cinema. We review movies with our two token lesbians. We review 2 movies in full spoiler reviews. So check it out. We just reviewed Venom and Malignant. That's pretty topical. Nice. Logan has his own channel too.
Yeah, youtube.com/Logan Tyler. Sorry, Logan Tyler Music. And you can get my own shows that I'm starting, my side projects, also any bonus clips from either podcast, whether it be the movie podcast or the TV podcast. You can get them all on that channel, youtube.com/Logan Tyler.
Nice. You can follow me on all social media at CLBlueOfficial. And I have an album coming out, which I'm really excited about. My first album. It's out on October 22nd. It's called Scorpio. And I have a YouTube channel. Go subscribe if you want to, see things that happen on there.
Vlogs and whatnot. Also, we forgot to say where you can find us. You can find us at
Twitter.com/apilotpodcast. Instagram.com/apilotpodcast. And follow us on all social medias.
And youtube.com/a pilot podcast.
It's CL. Hey guys, it's CL.
And you can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms.
Review us 5 stars. Say we're the best if you think we're the best. If you think we're the worst, still say we're the best.
Share us with your friends.
I think we're pretty good. Thank you.
And thanks for listening for a whole year, guys. Yeah, it's been real.
1 year.
From Scream to American Horror Story, Cody still made it through.
Yeah, I still want to die.
Later, Gators.